So I've been wanting to do a series of mods to the front side of my bike here, and I haven't gotten a chance because I was waiting for all the parts to come in. But I figured since I have to take off the front fairing in order to change out the windscreen, I also wanted to change out the light bulb, tint the headlight, and also, if at all possible, maybe even do some of these side things, like install my flush mounts and integrate the mirrors. So hopefully I only need to take off the front fairing once, and I can get all that stuff done. And that should pretty much dramatically change the front end of this bike. So in order to remove the front fairing, I'm going to need to remove the stock mirrors, because the stock mirrors actually attach to the post here. Next, what we'll need to do is we'll need to remove the two screws from the back side of the front fairing here. Next, here on the underside, we're going to be removing the two front bolts. So it seems like right here, you want to make sure that this detaches from the post after you're done unscrewing everything. One of the things I've done here is I've just taken some painter's tape and just put it on the very edges of the fairing, so while I'm removing this I don't scratch up any of the edges. Here we've gotten the turn signal out. It's pretty much just held in by this rubber piece here. So the last thing for me to do in order to free the fairing completely is to remove the 4 screws for the headlight. Carefully remove the fairing. Now with the fairing fully off, it should be fairly simple to just go ahead and remove these screws. Let's see if there's anything here. Just slides out like that. So here we have the anchor. You just pop that out. These anchors come right out. So one of the things I noticed about this windscreen right away. So here you could tell with the LP, the edges here isn't any thicker. On the stock one, you can tell that the top part here is like it's reinforced. So let's go ahead and get these anchors back on here. Looking at the stock part here, we notice that the anchor, this pops right into there, and that's fine. But on the new windscreen, the one by LP, when you go ahead and try to pop this in there, it doesn't fit. Okay, so after quite a bit of coaxing, we finally got all of the anchors back on. It is a little bit unfortunate that the part didn't come so that all the anchors can go back on easily. So I borrowed a light meter from my friend, and I'm going to be taking some readings and measure the light that comes out of the stock light bulb, as well as the SilverStar Ultra, and I wanted also to test how much light I lose after I tint the headlight itself. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install these Sylvania SilverStar Ultras. They're 41K, and we're going to see whether or not there is any real measurable difference between the stock light bulb and the SilverStars. And let's pop this sealer off here. It looks like there's a simple fastener here. Let's go ahead and remove that. Okay, so I've put the new bulb in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this first. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the tint that I got from MetroSellers. It's pretty much a transparent tint that you put right over the headlight. So here we have it, fully tinted, and it came out pretty good. I like the way there's actually no air bubbles or anything like that. It just looks like it's shrink wrapped right around there. So now it's time to work on the flush mounts. This here is the turn signal itself, and it really does seem like it would fit right here into the socket pretty perfectly. Yep, I think that's going to look real good. So I have these little plastic parts here which came with some things I got for my 250, and it actually fits this perfectly right there. So it gives you like a little bit of a flange that can cover the hole a little bit better, and I think it'll look a little bit more finished. Let's go ahead. Just gives it a little bit more of a finished look when I put it on there, so it's not just bare against the fairing. Everything's wired back up. Let's run a quick test. Turn it back on. There we go. So, in order to install this Jag mirror, I'm going to remove it from the base so I can use the stock base that comes with the bike. The base that came with the Jag is obviously way too large. Now the end that comes with the Jag barely is just a little bit too big to fit into the stock base. And for that reason, we're going to need to shave it down a little bit. So all in all, we shaved about 1 millimeter off of the end of the Jag. So now it can actually fit into the base. And we'll just go ahead and tighten that up. Okay, so after about 6 hours of work, we finally finished the bike. So we did a couple of different mods. We changed the windshield, changed the mirrors, we changed the flush mount, and we also changed the headlight, all of which took one fairing removal. So let's take a quick look at it. It's actually nice and wide. I like the shape of it. The fact that it's got integrated turn signal is pretty cool. The thing I don't like about it is, number one, there was no way to get the wire directly behind, so I had to run it right through here, which is okay because from most sides you really can't see it. But the place where I got a Jag, I think that really for the price we pay, it could have been a little bit better. Next, we've got the tint and the front shield, and we've made it a lot darker up front, and it gives a completely different look to the bike. I actually kind of like it because I kind of like that look. I wanted it to look different without looking more aggressive necessarily. So the bike's not necessarily any more aggressive, but it does look very different. Next we have the flushies. Now these flushies I got from Targa. It was a little bit thicker than I expected it to be. I wanted it to be right up against the fairing, but when you step back a little bit you really can't tell. It's not that far off. It's pretty small, and let's take a look how these look in the daylight. So there we have the two going at the same time, the integrated up top and the flushy on bottom. This is the other side going. So from a distance it looks like that.